favor of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Deputy Special Coordinator Alakbarov, for your briefing. Unfortunately, colleagues, today's meeting is yet another example of this Council's obsessive focus on Israel. This is the second time in less than a week that this Council has met on this subject. As I noted then, there have been more than 80 meetings on Israel since October 7th. This constant drumbeat of meetings only distract from and unfortunately undermine the serious work needed to address issues of international peace and security, including the United States' efforts to free all 48 hostages who remain in Hamas's captivity right now as we speak. Our work to bring this war to an end and to give Gaza and the Palestinian people a future free from Hamas. Resolution 2334, the ostensible focus of today's briefing, is a fundamentally flawed resolution. It wrongly delegitimizes Israel, including by denying the reality that Jerusalem is its lawful capital. Resolution 2334 exemplifies the outmoded thinking that has led to failure after failure in Middle East diplomacy. Every 3 months, this Council considers the implementation of 2334 by rote. This is in addition to the regular monthly briefing and the quarterly general debates on the Middle East, which focus almost entirely on Israel. And so this constant drumbeat of meetings continues to distract from doing the actual work. Doing the actual work, colleagues, that many pressing threats to international peace elsewhere around the world so sorely need. So perfunctory briefings like this one today do nothing to end the conflict or bring the war to a close. The United States continues to work tirelessly to free all 48 hostages and end the war. President Trump just last week told the General Assembly that empty words do not solve wars. Action does. Action does. President Trump just this last week hosted a key meeting with the leaders of Arab and Muslim majority states to coordinate the day after planning for Gaza. Not only is he putting real plans on the table to end the war and free the hostages and stop the suffering, but he's already putting plans forward for the day after to make sure this never happens again. We cannot repeat ourselves. We cannot. The definition of insanity is to continue to repeat this year after year. Colleagues, if we want to end the war, we need to place accountability where it belongs, with the terrorist organization known as Hamas. The United Nations has yet to designate Hamas as a terrorist organization, even as it holds 48 hostages in horrific conditions, which will include, by the way, the remains of 2 American citizens, Itachin and Omar Nutra. Hamas has made these hostages dig their own graves on camera. All of us desire peace, colleagues. All of us desire peace. But we should be united by one message for Hamas: release the hostages now and end this war. Hamas bears absolute responsibility for the ongoing war in Gaza. Hamas began a war on October 7, 2023, with a massacre of innocent people, including women, children, and the elderly. Unfortunately, while Israel has accepted the negotiators' proposals, Hamas has repeatedly rejected these reasonable offers to make peace. Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, members of this body rewarded Hamas for its horrible atrocities, including October 7th, by unilaterally recognizing a Palestinian state. Hamas sees actions like that as winning and as a win for them. and as a reward for their horrific actions. So rather than reward Hamas, this Council and all member states should pressure it to end the bloodshed, disarm, and give the people of Gaza a chance for a peaceful life. It is time to stop repeating this failed approach. President Trump's approach of peace through strength has yielded historic accomplishments in a very short amount of time. In his first term, he brought peace, prosperity, and regional integration through the historic Abraham Accords. Earlier this year, this administration negotiated a ceasefire that freed many hostages. And by holding Hamas accountable, we can free the hostages and end this war. The United States will continue to work on improving the humanitarian situation on the ground, supporting the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation as it delivers life-saving aid to those in need without empowering the terrorists. The GHF continues to provide vital food aid to Palestinian civilians in Gaza, distributing now 175 meals as of September 8th. We also call on the Palestinian Authority to live up to its commitments at Oslo and condemn Hamas's terrorism consistently and unequivocally, to stop the incitement of terrorism and to fully implement its commitment to end the program of cash payments to terrorists and their families. Colleagues, a stable West Bank keeps Israel secure and is in line with this administration's goal to achieve peace in the region. The United States will continue to work tirelessly with Israel and our Arab partners to negotiate peace, get the hostages back, and create a brighter and more prosperous future for the region's people. Thank you.
Thank the representative of the United States for the statement. Now I give the floor to the representative of China.
谢谢主席，我感谢阿拉克巴罗夫副特别协调员的通报。上周，在第80届联大一般性辩论、落实两国方案高级别会议等重要场合，国际社会就巴勒斯坦问题再次发出强有力的呼声，要求立即停止杀戮，拯救生命，实现和平。这是维护公道正义的最基本要求，更是人类道德良知的最基本底线。面对当前紧急局势，国际社会应当团结起来，凝聚共识，秉持客观公正立场，为解决巴勒斯坦问题做出更大的努力。我们要以最大的紧迫感平息加沙冲突。在近2年的冲突暴力和围困封锁之下，6.6万多名加沙民众失去了生命，200多万人在前所未有的人道灾难中挣扎。当前，以色列执意推进接管加沙城的计划，每天都有大量无辜平民丧生。中方重申，袭击平民和民用设施不可接受，把人道物资武器化不可接受，违背国际法和国际人道法不可接受。中方敦促以色列立即停止在加沙的一切军事行动，切实履行占领方义务，保障人道物资大规模、快速、安全进入，支持联合国等人道机构开展援助。对以色列有特殊影响的国家应切实负起责任。我们要以有力的行动缓解约旦河西岸紧张局势。以色列持续扩张定居点政策，纵容定居者暴力，挤压巴勒斯坦人民生存空间，侵蚀两国方案基础。吞并西岸的危险企图将彻底葬送两国方案的前景，直接冲击中东地区的稳定。国际社会必须予以明确抵制和坚决反对。我们敦促以色列立即停止定居点活动，遏制定居者暴力，停止蚕食约旦河西岸领土，停止破坏巴勒斯坦民族权力机构的治理基础。 我们要以坚定的决心重振两国方案。落实两国方案是解决巴勒斯坦问题的唯一可行出路。以色列建国迄今已近80年，而巴勒斯坦人民仍无处安身，这种状况不可接受。独立建国是巴勒斯坦人民不可剥夺的民族权利，不是可有可无的施舍或奖励。加沙和西岸都是巴勒斯坦人民的家园，是巴勒斯坦领土的组成部分，不能成为国际政治的牺牲品。任何战后治理和重建安排都应当尊重巴勒斯坦人民的意愿，维护巴勒斯坦民族的正当权利。近期，一些西方国家宣布承认巴勒斯坦国，国际社会应当延续积极势头，共同反对破坏两国方案基础的单边行动，寻求推进两国方案的切实可行路径，并支持巴勒斯坦成为联合国正式会员国。中方将继续同国际社会共同努力，推动早日平息加沙战火，缓解人道灾难，落实两国方案，推动巴勒斯坦问题全面、公正、持久解决，为实现中东地区的和平与稳定不断做出新的贡献。谢谢主席。
Representative of China for the statement. Now I give the floor to representative of United Kingdom.
Deputy Special Coordinator Alec Barov for his briefing. I'll make 3 points. First, the United Kingdom reaffirms that a two-state solution remains the only viable path to peace and security for both Israelis and Palestinians. That is why, last week, the UK formally recognised the State of Palestine. As my Foreign Secretary said, this decision reflects a grave urgency. The two-state solution is under threat from relentless violence, deepening humanitarian catastrophe, and political obstruction. In the West Bank, the Israeli government continues its stranglehold on the Palestinian economy, further destabilising the Palestinian Authority. So we urge Israel to release withheld clearance revenues, restore correspondent banking relationships, and facilitate shekel transfers from Palestinian banks. We also repeat our calls on Israel to halt the expansion of illegal settlements, including the E1 plans, and act decisively against extremist settler violence. Like others in this Council, we reiterate that Israeli annexation of the West Bank cannot be allowed to happen. Second, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is intolerable. Civilians continue to face famine, destruction, and displacement on a scale that defies description. Since the 1st of September, 4 hospitals in northern Gaza have been forced to close, and clinics, including those of the Palestinian Medical Relief Society, continue to be struck by Israel. Israel must protect the healthcare sector in line with its obligations under international law. Last week, doctors who had worked in Gaza described to me the awful challenge of trying to save lives in conditions of destruction and with medical equipment and food withheld. So we continue to call on Israel to let in aid without restriction, including fully reopening the King Hussein Allenby Bridge. We also urge Israel to allow international media access to Gaza in line with the principles of press freedom. Third, as my Foreign Secretary said, recognition must be a spur, not a substitute, for urgent action. We desperately need a ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and a huge surge in humanitarian aid. The hostages and Palestinians in Gaza have known only death and misery for the past 2 years. We commend the tireless efforts of the US, Qatar and Egypt to try to end this cycle of violence. The UK is ready to build on the positive momentum from last week's two-state solution conference and to play our part in securing a deal to provide a better future for Israel, Palestine and the region. I thank you.
I thank the representative of United Kingdom for the statement. And now I give the floor to representative of Somalia.